As you guys know, you're not allowed to use internet sources for your research paper. This is not uncommon when you're writing research papers because there's a lot of good stuff on the internet. There's a lot of good historical databases that have primary sources that you can access now, but there's also a lot of junk on the internet, and so it's so much easier actually for you to stick with print sources because you don't have to wade through so much junk and you don't have to determine if something is legit or not. So Magister just made it easy on you by preventing you from using internet sources, but you are allowed to use JSTOR and EBSCO host. A real short definition of JSTOR is that it's an online database that searches all of the academic journals that are out there and helps you find articles related to the topic that you are researching. We'll go back to that in a minute. EBSCO is also an online database. It has a lot more than academic journals. It searches newspapers, it searches all kinds of things, magazine articles, but you can be very specific in what you're looking for. And I'm actually going to show you how to do that in just a few minutes. I wanted to give you kind of an overview of what academic journals are because you probably had very little experience with these things. The difference between a journal and a magazine is in it to make money. When you open a magazine, you'll see advertisements and all kinds of different things. There can be opinion articles that are just complete, rants about like whether this lipstick is better than that lipstick or whatever. I mean, it doesn't just have to be fashion magazines. I mean, there are actual magazines related to history and other things. But the purpose of a magazine is to make money. The purpose of an academic journal is not to make money. It's a way for scholars to have their research published. And so there are academic journals for almost every field of study. Probably on the news you've heard maybe a report about some kind of new science experiment or medical experiment where they're reporting in the Journal of American Medicine or something like that is how they'll start off the report. And that is a journal specifically related to whatever medical field, and they will publish the results of their experiments and their findings in these journals. And so the same for history, you'll have journals that are specific to history, but maybe even more specialized. So it may be a certain area of history, it may be classical history, or it may be just history related to the ancient Greeks. And so everything in that journal, every article is related to something that happened in the ancient Greek time period or an ancient Greek person, some kind of research that a scholar has done on that area. So that's why academic journals are very trustworthy, is because one, every factor of opinion is documented. So essentially these are like their research papers being published, and so every bit of information has a citation, and they're not just ranting their opinion about something. It has to have they have to show evidence of where they got that opinion in the first place, if it's an opinion, and they have to also show where they found the facts of the matter. It's peer reviewed, so this means only people who know what they're talking about have read and approved the article before it goes to publishing. So let's say you write your awesome paper on Herodotus and we send it into the academic journal. You would have to be a scholar in your field, so this is not going to happen. But if you were in college studying Herodotus and you send this into this journal that specializes in ancient Greek time period, then other scholars in that field, probably other classics, professors, guys with PhDs, would be reading your article and making sure that it was legitimate and that the things that you bring up are legitimate and that the facts have been cited legitimately. And then after all those people pass your paper around, they say, yeah, it looks good, we're going to print it. And so they put it in their journal. So it's not just like if I was trying to read entries for a journal on Herodotus, that wouldn't be a good idea because I'm not an expert on Herodotus. However, Magister Orr studied Herodotus in depth. He is much more capable of determining whether someone's opinion on Herodotus and the facts that they bring up in their paper are legitimate things. So that's why an academic journal is a good thing to use in any kind of research paper.